Do you realize that the life you are living right now is the echo of words you once released? Every joy, every sorrow, every victory, and every limitation is a reflection of what has been spoken by your tongue and by your heart. The world listens when you speak. The universe stands still when you decree. Heaven waits to agree with the words that leave your lips. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the author of your atmosphere. Speak, and the winds will shift. Declare, and the dry bones will rise again. Your tongue is a divine instrument. Every word you utter is like a seed cast into the soil of time. Some plant seeds of fear and wonder why they harvest anxiety. Others speak faith, and the universe bends in obedience to their confession. You must understand, the world you see outside is first built inside you, then spoken into existence. Creation began with a voice, and creation still responds to a voice. When you speak, don't speak as one begging heaven to move. Speak as one who knows heaven lives within you. The power that said, "Let there be light," also dwells in your words when your spirit is aligned with faith. But to activate that power, your heart must be detached from fear, detached from doubt, detached from the trembling of circumstances. Detachment is not the absence of care. It is the presence of confidence. It is the quiet knowing that no storm can define the one who walks on water. When your emotions rise like waves, anchor your spirit in truth. Say to your soul, "Be still." The voice that calms you is the same voice that commands your world. Do not let the noise around you enter the silence within you. A detached spirit is a throne, unmoved, unshaken, unbothered, because it knows the king rules from within. The moment you stop reacting to life, life begins reacting to you. Faith-filled speech does not come from panic, it comes from peace. Before you speak miracles, you must silence chaos. If your heart is noisy with fear, your words lose their authority. The most powerful declarations are born from stillness. Speak not as one trying to convince yourself, but as one who has already seen the outcome in the spirit. Say it until you feel it, and feel it until you see it. For words that come from conviction carry the weight of divine law. There will be moments when everything around you contradicts what you declare. Do not waver. Keep speaking. Keep believing. The unseen responds to consistency. The mountain does not move because you shouted once. It moves because your faith refuses to stop speaking. Every word of faith is a hammer that strikes the wall of impossibility until it cracks open into manifestation. Speak until heaven hears and earth obeys. Do not curse your life by careless conversation. Every complaint is a prophecy. Every worry is a seed of what you do not want to grow. Instead of saying, "I can't," say, "I will." Instead of saying, "It's impossible," say, "All things are possible." Speak abundance in lack, health in sickness, peace in turmoil. Your words are not powerless wishes. They are instruments of divine creation. And when you master detachment, you will notice something profound. The less you are moved by circumstances, the more your words move circumstances. This is spiritual authority. This is the secret of those who command miracles without strain. They are not desperate, they are certain. Their detachment is their strength. Their peace is their weapon. The moment your spirit rises above reaction, your words gain creative power. When nothing external can disturb your inner stillness, your declarations become irresistible forces in the invisible realm. The universe does not respond to panic. It responds to faith, spoken with calm conviction. Speak with divine certainty, not emotional desperation. Your life is waiting for your words. Your future is waiting for your decree. Open your mouth, align your heart, detach from fear, and speak from the spirit of peace. For when your words are filled with faith, heaven listens and miracles obey. Your words are not simply sounds carried by breath. They are the very vibrations of creation itself. Every syllable that leaves your mouth carries the power to construct or to collapse, to build up or to break down, to invite heaven or to echo fear. The unseen world responds to speech with a precision that many have forgotten. When you speak, you are not merely communicating, you are creating. You are shaping atmospheres, setting directions, opening or closing doors. The life you are living right now is not accidental. It is the harvest of words you have planted over time. Some have spoken faith and are now walking through fields of blessing. Others have spoken fear, doubt, and negativity, and now wonder why life feels heavy, why joy seems distant, why miracles seem delayed. You are never waiting on the world to change. You are waiting on your words to align with divine truth. When a person begins to understand that their words hold the weight of life and death, they become careful architects of their reality. They no longer waste speech on worry, gossip, or complaint. They speak intentionally, with reverence for the unseen power hidden in their tongue. Because the moment a word is spoken, it becomes a seed that travels through time, searching for soil in which to grow. This is why silence can sometimes be more powerful than speech. When the heart is not ready to create what it truly desires, silence guards the future from careless construction. Your world bends to the vibration of your conviction. If your speech is inconsistent, your life will reflect that inconsistency. But if your confession is steady, unwavering, and born from inner peace, everything around you begins to align with it. The universe was built on rhythm and word. When your voice harmonizes with divine rhythm, reality must respond. The miracles you seek are not distant. They are waiting for the right command. Yet that command can only flow from a detached and quiet spirit. One that does not panic in storms. One that does not crumble under pressure. One that stands still and knows that creation listens. Detachment is not coldness. It is confidence. It is the inner knowing that what you have spoken in faith must come to pass, even if time and space seem to argue otherwise. When your emotions are enslaved to appearances, your words lose authority. But when your emotions bow to faith, your words become law in the spirit. To detach is to trust the process of divine timing. It is to speak once with conviction and then rest, knowing that what has been declared in alignment with truth cannot return void. The detached soul is not anxious for results. It lives in assurance. It does not chase signs. It creates them. When you truly master detachment, your words begin to carry weight because they are no longer rooted in fear. Many people speak from desperation, not realization. They speak trying to convince themselves that something will happen, not because they already know it has. But the one who speaks from revelation does not need to shout. Their quiet declaration carries thunder in the unseen realm. They are not moved by delay, because they understand that delay is not denial, it is preparation. They do not measure success by visible evidence, but by spiritual certainty. The power of your words multiplies when they flow from peace. Peace is the atmosphere of miracles. It is the soil in which creative words take root and manifest. Anxiety uproots seeds. Worry waters weeds. But peace guards the garden of creation. When you speak from a calm spirit, even mountains begin to tremble, because peace is the highest vibration of divine authority. Heaven's voice is not frantic. It is firm, serene, and absolute. If you desire to see your words shape your world, first master the silence of your soul. Then, when you speak, let every word be born from stillness and faith. Everything begins to change the moment you realize that your world does not respond to emotion, but to belief. Emotion can shift from hour to hour, but faith is an anchor. Faith is what gives your words endurance. Even when the external world seems unshaken, your confession must remain unbroken. Speak as one who knows the outcome, not as one begging for it. Speak light into darkness, healing into brokenness, order into chaos. For the authority of speech was never meant to describe reality. It was meant to define it. So let your words become living instruments of creation. Let them carry the fragrance of faith, the stillness of trust, and the weight of divine authority. Let your detachment become your strength, your peace become your fortress, and your speech become the bridge between heaven and earth. The power has never left your mouth. It only waits for you to use it with wisdom. Speak with certainty, not desperation. Speak with vision, not reaction. And as you do, you will watch your words weave reality into the image of your belief. The tongue holds mysteries deeper than most understand. Every utterance released from your mouth becomes a decree that ripples through both the visible and invisible worlds. When you speak, you are not merely expressing feelings. You are sending out spiritual commands. The universe is designed to respond to faith-filled sound. It listens for words that carry divine alignment, and when it hears them, creation begins to rearrange itself to fulfill that command. The problem is that many use this power unconsciously. They speak their fears as easily as their faith. They confess defeat with the same conviction as they confess victory. And then they wonder why confusion follows them, why life feels unstable, and why peace seems to escape them. Words are the architects of destiny, and every careless word builds a structure that either shelters or suffocates the soul. When you understand the creative force of speech, you begin to measure your words as carefully as a craftsman measures his tools. You become aware that what you declare today shapes what you will walk into tomorrow. This is why spiritual detachment is essential. A detached heart speaks from a higher place, not from emotional reaction. If you speak while trapped in emotion, your words lose their divine clarity. They become distorted by fear, anger, or desperation. But when you speak from detachment, from the stillness of divine confidence, your words cut through confusion like light pierces darkness. Detachment gives your speech authority because it removes personal struggle and replaces it with divine certainty. Imagine a person standing before a raging storm. One heart cries out in panic saying, "The storm is too great," and the storm grows louder. Another heart, filled with stillness, says calmly, "Peace, be still," and the wind obeys. What made the difference? The words were similar, but the spirit behind them was different. The detached one was not moved by the storm. Therefore, the storm became subject to their word. The one attached to fear lost their voice to the chaos. This is the divine mystery. Your words carry the vibration of your inner state. If you wish to command peace outside, you must first cultivate peace within. When your emotions become the master of your mouth, your world becomes unstable. But when your spirit becomes the master of your words, stability follows you like a shadow. Detachment is not about suppressing emotions. It is about transcending them. It is the ability to feel deeply, yet speak from wisdom, not reaction. To detach is to recognize that you are not your thoughts, not your circumstances, not even your feelings. You are the spirit within, the one who commands creation through speech. When you realize this, your words no longer flow from weakness. They flow from awareness of divine partnership. Creation listens to authority, not anxiety. It responds to faith, not fear. The moment you speak as one united with divine will, heaven begins to move on your behalf. But when your words are driven by desperation, they carry no creative power because they are rooted in lack, not abundance. Detachment purifies the motive behind your words. It allows you to speak as one who knows that all things are already accomplished in the unseen. The detached heart does not beg for miracles, it declares them. It does not question timing, it trusts it. This is the spiritual posture that allows your words to manifest what they were meant to create. Many pray and speak but do not see results because their speech is polluted by contradiction. They declare faith in one moment and fear in the next. They bless with one breath and curse with another. But the detached spirit has learned consistency. It has learned to anchor every word in divine alignment. When you detach from outcomes, you give your words permission to work freely. Faith does not demand proof, it becomes proof. Detachment says, it is already done, even when the eyes see nothing. And that conviction releases a creative force that no obstacle can withstand. There is great peace in the one who has learned the discipline of speech. Such a person does not waste words on trivial things. They understand that every sentence is a seed, and they refuse to sow weeds in their own garden. Their silence is sacred, their speech deliberate, their faith unshakable. They no longer speak from reaction, but from revelation. They have learned that the tongue is not just an instrument of communication, it is the instrument of creation. If you wish to see miracles, you must speak them into existence, but not from emotional struggle. Speak from stillness, from knowing, from unity with divine truth. When your soul is calm, your words become thunder in the unseen. The detached heart carries an authority that cannot be explained, but can always be felt. Mountains recognize that voice. Seas calm before it. Circumstances bend under it. This is the hidden power of the one who has mastered detachment. They have become the voice of the divine on earth, and their words shape worlds unseen into realities that all can behold. There is a sacred stillness that only those who have conquered the storms within can understand. It is the stillness that gives birth to miracles. When a person has mastered the art of spiritual detachment, they are no longer swayed by the rise and fall of circumstances. They move through life with quiet confidence, because their authority does not come from what they see. It comes from what they know in the spirit. They have learned that every external change begins first in the unseen world, and the gateway between the unseen and the seen is the spoken word. What you speak, you summon. What you declare with conviction becomes law in your world. The tongue is not simply an organ of sound. It is the pen of destiny, writing the future sentence by sentence, decree by decree. When your emotions rule your tongue, your speech becomes unstable, and your life mirrors that instability. But when peace governs your speech, the entire atmosphere begins to respond to you. The detached heart is not numb, it is free. It feels deeply, but it refuses to be enslaved by feeling. It does not react, it responds with divine precision. Such a person does not allow temporary emotions to dictate eternal words. They pause before they speak, because they understand that every word is a seed, and every seed carries the potential of harvest. When your words are anchored in truth and not in emotion, they have the strength to move mountains. You cannot speak with divine authority if your emotions are louder than your faith. Many people lose the power of their confession because they have not yet separated their speech from their feelings. They speak one way when they are joyful, and another when they are afraid. But the person who has mastered detachment speaks the same, whether in fire or in calm. Their voice remains steady because their faith remains unshaken. This constancy is what gives their words power. It is not the noise of emotion that moves heaven. It is the stillness of faith. When you begin to live detached from outcomes, you start to see how powerful you truly are. Most people are trapped in cycles of frustration because their peace depends on results. They pray and speak, and if nothing changes quickly, they fall into doubt. But detachment releases you from the bondage of impatience. It allows you to rest while your words go to work. You do not have to force the manifestation. You simply align with it. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," did not worry if light would appear. It was spoken, therefore it had to be. When your words are rooted in that same conviction, creation bows in response. The secret of creation lies in alignment. Your words must agree with your heart, and your heart must agree with divine truth. This alignment is impossible if you are emotionally entangled with outcomes. Detachment allows your heart to stay clear so that your words are pure conduits of faith, not mixtures of doubt and desire. To detach is to trust. It is to let go of control while holding fast to belief. It is to understand that your role is to speak and believe, not to manipulate the how or when. The detached soul walks in peace because it knows that every word spoken in faith already carries its own fulfillment. When you detach from outcomes, even silence becomes powerful. You no longer feel the need to defend your faith or argue your vision. You simply know. That knowing radiates through your presence and gives weight to your words. When such a person speaks healing, sickness begins to dissolve. When they declare provision, doors begin to open. When they command peace, the storm ceases. This is not magic, it is divine order. Creation recognizes the voice of one who speaks from stillness. Heaven listens closely to the calm voice that carries certainty. There will always be voices of doubt around you, trying to shake your belief. There will be circumstances that tempt you to speak fear or defeat. But detachment teaches you to stay anchored in truth even when everything around you trembles. You no longer allow external voices to rewrite your inner script. You no longer echo the language of fear, because you know that every word you speak is a seed planted into your future. You guard your tongue as you would guard treasure, because within it lies the power to create worlds or destroy them. When you reach this level of spiritual maturity, your words begin to feel different even to you. They carry peace instead of pressure. They release energy instead of effort. You begin to notice that creation moves quietly but effectively. You don't chase results anymore. They find you. Miracles become the natural outcome of your alignment, not the result of striving. The detached spirit speaks, believes, and then rests, knowing that what is spoken in faith will return in manifestation. This is how you create your world. This is how heaven partners with the human voice to release divine order into the chaos of life. When you speak from stillness, you are no longer a victim of circumstance. You become a vessel of creation. There comes a point in your spiritual journey when you realize that your words no longer merely describe your life. They define it. You stop speaking about what is and start declaring what shall be. The revelation becomes clear. Everything in existence is sound before it is sight. Before there was form, there was word. Before there was manifestation, there was declaration. The same power that brought the universe into being now waits within your tongue, waiting to be awakened by faith. But to unlock this power, you must first silence the noise of attachment, the emotional entanglement that ties you to fear, doubt, and impatience. For words spoken from rest carry creation. Words spoken from restlessness carry confusion. The greatest barrier to manifestation is not lack of power, it is lack of peace. When your heart is restless, your words lose precision. They scatter energy instead of directing it. A detached heart, however, is like a polished mirror that reflects divine will with clarity. It speaks not from anxiety or need, but from quiet certainty. Detachment is not indifference, it is alignment. It is the understanding that what you have declared in faith is already accomplished in the unseen, and your only task is to stay aligned until it appears in the seen. When your spirit lives in that awareness, your words no longer chase miracles, they create them. Every time you speak, you are releasing a vibration into the atmosphere that searches for its match. Words spoken in fear attract circumstances that echo fear. Words spoken in peace draw outcomes that manifest peace. The detached one guards speech because they know every word is an invitation. They do not waste their breath describing the storm. They use it to command the storm. They do not talk about the mountain. They tell the mountain to move. They do not allow their lips to serve emotion. They allow them to serve purpose. This is the level of mastery that turns ordinary language into divine decree. The mind of one who has mastered detachment is quiet, even in chaos. They are not blind to problems. They simply refuse to give problems the authority of their words. They know that what they speak grows stronger. So they speak only what they desire to see. They choose words as carefully as a sculptor chooses strokes. They do not engage in idle talk or emotional reaction, because they understand that the universe keeps no record of intention, only declaration. You may feel faith, but until you speak faith, nothing moves. And yet, if you speak faith but remain attached to fear, your words lose their fire. Detachment gives your faith endurance. It turns temporary emotion into eternal creation. Every promise that has ever been spoken into your life waits on your agreement. When you speak in harmony with divine truth, you activate those promises. But if you continue to speak contradiction, words of doubt, fear, and defeat, you deactivate what was meant for you. You are not waiting for heaven to move. Heaven is waiting for you to speak from a place of alignment. Every spiritual law responds to voice, not silence. The difference between those who experience miracles and those who do not often lies in one simple truth. One speaks from panic, the other from peace. When your heart is detached, your voice becomes an echo of divine confidence. You no longer question whether things will work out. You know they already have. You no longer pray as a beggar. You speak as a creator. You no longer let circumstances dictate your confession. Your confession dictates your circumstances. This is the posture of divine authority. The detached person can look at an impossible situation and declare possibility without trembling. Their faith is not an emotion, it is an atmosphere. And in that atmosphere, words take on a creative life of their own. The more detached you become, the more powerful your speech becomes. When your peace is no longer tied to results, your words flow without resistance. They travel unhindered into the invisible realm, shaping outcomes in ways your eyes cannot yet perceive. You do not need to see immediate change to know that change has begun. The detached heart understands the language of divine timing. It knows that what has been spoken in alignment cannot return void. It may take time to appear, but the manifestation is inevitable. In the end, it is not emotion that proves faith, it is endurance. The one who can continue to speak truth while detached from outcomes has mastered the creative process. They live above reaction, above fear, above noise. They know that the power of creation is not in shouting louder, but in believing deeper. When your soul rests in that awareness, your words become instruments of divine will. You speak and the world bends. You declare and heaven agrees. You command and the unseen responds. That is the mystery and majesty of a detached heart. It does not strive to create. It simply speaks and creation answers. When you finally understand that your words carry the breath of creation, you begin to live differently. You stop speaking from reaction and start speaking from revelation. You no longer chase change. You become the change through the power of your declaration. Your tongue is not given to describe what is wrong, but to release what is right. Every word you speak is a seed sown into the soil of eternity, and heaven watches over that seed to bring it to life. When your spirit becomes detached from fear, when your emotions bow to faith, and when your peace anchors your confession, your world begins to mirror your words. This is the secret of divine mastery. Speak from stillness, not from struggle. Speak from conviction, not from confusion. Speak as one who knows that the unseen is more real than the visible. The detached heart is not powerless. It is the most powerful state a person can live in, for it is the realm where faith governs, peace reigns, and words create worlds. When your mouth aligns with divine truth, creation itself cannot resist your voice. So guard your speech, master your inner world, and let your words become the echo of heaven on earth. For when you speak from faith, everything begins to change, and miracles become the natural language of your life.